Hi everyone, this is Ashley with March Flower Studio. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I make this little owl. So it is a little, I'll say keychain size owl. It's very simple to make, and as you can tell, it comes out pretty cute without too much effort. So we'll get started with this. I am using the number 4 worsted weight yarns. For this owl, I'm going to be using a navy and my kind of buff tan color here. I'm going to have some more yellow eyes. I had a ton of these colored eyes and I never really had anything to use them on. So when I found, I kind of came up with this little owl idea, I thought these would be perfect for that. They stand out nice. I've got my stuffing stick just because whenever we're stuffing things that are a little smaller, that can make things really easy. I've got a stitch marker just in case, and then my yarn needle. And I am using a number 4 or a 4mm, sorry, hook with this. So we'll set this little guy over here and we'll get started. So I'm going to put the navy on the bottom here, and we're going to start as usual with 6 single crochets in a magic circle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then our next row is going to be 6 increases. So there's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. All right, for our next row, we're going to have an increase and then a single crochet. So 1 and 2, and then 3, 4 and 5, and then 6, 7 and 8, and then 9, 10 and 11, and then 12, 13 and 14, and then 15, 16 and 17, and then 18. Okay, so we're working our way out a little bit here. We've got one more increase row, so we're going to have an increase and then 2 single crochets. So there's 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22, 23, 24. All right. So at this point, we're going to do 4 rows of single crochet. And I am going to use my stitch marker so that I don't have to count 24 4 times. So the third row for me. I don't know if you can hear my tiny tornadoes in the background, but they're having fun. And I'm watching Miss Rachel. This is the fourth row. Okie doke. So I finished my fourth row of the bottom color. And if you're not quite there yet, just hit pause. And then as soon as you're ready, hit play and we'll move on. We are going to do a color change. So when I do color changes, and you can do your color change however you like, okay? Just putting that out there. If you have a different way that you prefer, go for it. I always do a slip stitch with the color that I currently have, and then I'll go under the next stitch and pull my new color through for a slip stitch. So I have 2 slip stitches side by side there. And I'll cut my old color. We'll set that off to the side. I like to tie a little square knot whenever I change colors. It just makes it feel like it's a little bit more secure to me. And then we're going to do one more slip stitch here to start this new color. And we're going to have 3 more rows of 24. So I will count this as my starting stitch, this first tan color here. Once we get done with these 3 rows, we're going to start kind of decreasing our way in. Uh-oh. I've got a little knot. See if I can get it undone. Miss Rachel is currently singing about owls. I don't know how some of these knots manage to get up inside a skein of yarn. Okay. So there's my first row. Do the second row. All right, this is the third row. Okay, so I've got all 3 rows of that single crochet 24 here. All right, next we're gonna have 6 single crochets and a decrease, and we're gonna have a couple rows that are like this where we're repeating something just 3 times. And I like to stagger where I put my decreases so they're not just all kind of stacking on top of each other. So I'm going to do 3 single crochets and then do my decrease. And I'll put the other 3 from this set on the end. Okay. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, and decrease. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then we're going to have a 5 single crochet and decrease. And this one I'm going to do as just straight 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And decrease. Okay. Now we're going to do our 4 single crochets and decrease. And again, because this is an even number in between, I'm going to split them. So I'm going to do 1 and 2, and then go ahead and do a decrease. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4. Decrease. And then 1, 2. Okay. Now at this point we are going to go ahead and put our eyes in our little owl here before we make this too small to deal with. So this first row of the tan, where we have our color change, is row 9. So our eyes need to go between rows 11 and 12. So we have 9, 10, 11, and then 12 here. So we're going to have about 5, we'll say, posts between the eyes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we'll pop the backs on these suckers. Some of these are a little tighter than others. The ones I put on this owl, I think the posts were a little bit bigger, and it took some effort to really get those pushed on there. All right, so we've got our little eyes ready. Our next row is just going to be 15 single crochets. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right, now we're going to have 3 single crochets and a decrease. There's 1, 2, 3, and decrease. 1, 2, 3. And I've had some questions about my decreases before, so I'll go ahead and kind of repeat what I do here in case you missed it and think this looks weird. So the way that I do a decrease is I go under the front loop only of the next stitch, under the front loop only of the stitch next to that. So right now I've got these 2 front loops and then my kind of working loop back here. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 2 front loops, and then I'll yarn over and pull through both of those like I'm doing a regular single crochet. 1, 2, 3. I'll show you again. So under just the front loop of the next one, under the front loop of the next one after that, yarn over and pull through both of those. So I've got my regular single crochet loops on my hook, and then yarn over and pull through both. All right. I know there are different ways to do decreases, and any way that you want to do your decreases is fine. I've just had some people get a little bit confused because they haven't seen the way that I do them before. So just throwing that out there. All right, our next row is going to be just 12 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, at this point, I am going to, first of all, take my little stitch marker out because I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to go ahead and stuff the bottom part of this owl. And we're only going to really put stuffing up to kind of where the eyes are. Because if you'll notice, at this point, we're probably about right here in crocheting the top of this owl. We just fold that over, and if it's full of stuffing, it's a lot harder to manage. Okay, so you want this part to be empty, and we'll fold it over in just a minute and kind of sew it to the front to create that beak. So we just need the bottom part to be stuffed. We want it stuffed enough so that it will hold its shape, but not so much that we can start to see stuffing kind of in between our stitches. Okay, so my stuffing comes up to about right here. So that'll be where I kind of pinch that head closed and then fold it over. All right, so we need a few more rows here to finish off the top. We're going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease. Okay, and we're going to have 9 single crochets. And then we're going to do another decrease row. So we're going to have just 1, and then our decrease is 2. Do 3, decrease is 4, 5, and our decrease is 6. And then I'm actually going to do 2 more decreases because I want the top of this to be kind of as small, as pointy as I can get it. So I did 2 more decreases and then a little slip stitch there. I cut my yarn off, pull this through, and I still want to sew the top of this closed, even though it's pretty small as it is. But we're turning this into the beak of the owl. So as small as we can get it, the better. All right, so when I sewed that up and pulled it, it made this nice little pointed end. So then we fold that over so that it comes down in between those eyes. All right. Boop. You can kind of pinch and shape the top of this little owl head. Okay. I am going to run a couple of stitches through this beak with this tan tail to kind of help hold it down. All right. So let's stick this through the back here. We're almost done. So I'm going to pull a little bit of this nice bright yellow. You can use, your Harvest Gold or trying to think of the name of this other color I've got over here. Sun Gold. I kept saying sunflower, but this is sunflower. So my Sun Gold is definitely a more gold yellow. But I'm going to use my nice sunflower yellow here for this. So I'm going to come from the back because I'm going to tie off my yellow with that tan. And I'm just going to kind of go over the end of this point. So that we kind of create that beak shape with the yellow. Sometimes these stitches get really tight. Oops. Put a dent in my table here. Pull that back out through the back. Got my little beak here. I'm going to use my yarn needle to kind of adjust here in a second. I'll tie that off in a minute. We've got one more quick little thing. We need to make some little wings. So we're going to do a magic circle. And these are super simple wings. We're just going to do 6 half double crochets in our magic circle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then I'll do a little slip stitch into the magic circle and cut that off. We'll pull this tight. We don't want to join it because we want it to be open at the top a little bit, but we can take this and just make sure you're on the side. I like to put mine right where the colors meet. And if you're picky about seeing your color changes, then you could put your color change to the side of your owl. So you'd have to think about that when you put your eyes in. And then you could put your wing right over the top of that color change so that nobody would ever see it. I do usually try to do that, though sometimes I completely forget. All right, so tie that off too. And I'll pull those ends through in just a second as well. But now you've got your little wings for the side. So make another one just like that. Sew it to this side. You could add some little embroidered feet to the bottom. That would look really cute if you want to go that far. And some of the owls that I have seen have kind of a V-shape stitch in their body color to kind of imitate that wing shape. Not wing, feather. Sorry. So you could add that as well if you want to have a little bit more detail to your owl. So give our little owl a thumbs up if you have anything that you would like to see me make in the future, or any other comments. Just pop those down there in the description. Hopefully soon there will be a written or a link to a written pattern for hopefully most all of the videos that I have posted. Takes me a little while to get those typed up. There's also a link for my webpage, themarshflower.com, where I sell most of my little stuffed animals. So check that out. There is a gallery page on that website as well, where you can see all kinds of things that I have made in the past. If there's anything on there that you would like to see me make in a video, just let me know. I also make some other things. I do lots of drawings when I kind of need to take a break from crochet for a little bit. And I have 2 websites, Redbubble and TeePublic, where those are posted, and you're ordering those straight from those companies, and then the artists that put their designs on those sites get, you know, a percentage commission whenever something sells with their stuff on it. So stickers, t-shirts, they have blankets, shower curtains, masks, aprons, backpacks, posters, all kinds of other stuff. So take a look at those, even if you're not looking at my designs. They're pretty cool websites. There's lots of really cool designs that are really different from what you just see in the store. So if you like that kind of thing, definitely check that out. And happy hooking, crochet nerds!